Okay, now welcome back to another episode of Coffee Break with your host, Michael. And Nadia has joined us again today, which is great
Woohoo!
because I don't like doing things on my own. I need my hand to be held. Okay, not really, but I need moral support usually, always. It's really nice. Um, so last week we talked about bullying. Bullying is always a thing that we always like to kind of emphasize when we can, because it had a great impact on our lives, and it's had a great impact on millions of other people's lives. So
Yes, sir.
we like to bring awareness to that as much as possible. And like the shows that we watch, they kind of portray these pretty well and more aggressive. Some of them more aggressive than the others.
Yeah.
This week is another important subject that we're going to talk about, and it is communication. Okay, communication. So this is probably besides bullying, this is the most man, I can't speak today. You're making me nervous. This is probably the subject that we're the most passionate about, especially watching K-dramas, watching any type of television,
Yeah.
watching other people interact, watching anything on television where people have to talk to each other,
But yet they don't.
but they don't. And like watching, like listening to other people's relationships and friendships and all that stuff, and you're just like, well, let's talk about communication here. Now, it's a cliche where people say, oh, the key to a good relationship is communication. Yeah, fuck, it is. It's the number one thing that you need to do, but no one does it. That's the issue. That's the biggest problem. No one actually does
You're
the
very
communication
heated.
about that. Sorry. Now communication. I am fortunate enough to find Nadia in my life.
Yeah.
Because she is the first person that I was comfortable enough to actually be myself around.
Yeah.
And actually say what's on my mind.
Me too.
And I mean, like, you know, the crazy things that you think of that you don't want to say out loud, and you don't even want to say out loud to yourself, but you kind of just keep in your head, and you're just kind of like, oh, I think I'm crazy. Those are the kind of thoughts that I actually can say out loud with her, and she kind of has crazier thoughts than I do. So
I do
it
know.
works. Sometimes, not always. My mind is pretty messed up, and so is hers. So we work out pretty well.
Yeah.
So we based our relationship on communication. Okay.
Yeah, I think that was very key for us.
That was like the main thing. It's
Yeah.
like, yo, you got to be honest with each other. You got to be open with each other. You know, there's always sometimes where you don't want to say things to your partner. That's fine. You just keep to yourself. But the more important things that you're going to come across in your relationships, in your friendships, in your marriages, in any type of situation where communication is necessary, you need to communicate. You need to voice your. You need to use your voice.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't be shy. Don't hold back because you're scared of the outcome. You have to do it. You know what I mean? And then you feel that there's that feeling at the bottom of your stomach. You know that gut feeling where you're like, oh, I should really say it. I should really say something. Yeah, say it. Say it. Just go with that feeling. Just say it. Sorry. So there are a lot of shows that every single show that you probably watch is like this, but I'm like the
People they like to refrain from saying things, and it's like, that's great. But like, no.
yeah, exactly. There's like, so like last week we were the reason why I brought up bullying was because we were watching The Heirs, The Inheritors with Lee Min Ho and Park Shin-hye and Kim Woo Bin. Again, it's all about communication. This show is all about communication too. No one talks to each other. No one tells the truth. Everybody's lying to each other. You know what I mean? And the relationship between, oh my God, Kim Tan and Cho Young-do, their friendship could have been solved
If they just would have had a conversation.
Yeah. If one of them wasn't just too, if they weren't both hot-headed and just like,
Yeah.
fuck you, it would have been solved in like a sit down where they just talk like friggin' mature adults, right?
But they like to make them seem like they're not mature and adults in these things.
It sucks because they're 18.
Yeah.
you're at the point where you're like, yeah, okay, I can be an adult. So
In North America, you're considered an adult.
right? But it's like you're 18, you're like, and in your head you're like, yeah, I'm an adult, so I'm gonna be an adult. But then you do childish shit. That's what pissed me off.
Again, you're 18 though.
Right. Another show is
Cheese the Trap. Cheese.
okay. Let's not talk about Cheese in the Trap yet. Okay, let's not talk about that. There's a show with Song Joong Ki called The Nice Guy. No, The Nice Guy, The Innocent Man. Okay, this show was fantastic. It's not that it's hard to watch. It's just there's so much going on in the show. But the one thing is like key to the show is communication, where he's so smart, but there's like certain points with Moon Chae-won's character, okay, that he could have solved issues with her by talking to her, but refraining from actually saying anything and just letting her believe what she wants to believe causes a whole new level of misunderstanding. Right?
Like, I get it's obviously for the show and the dramatic effect, but it's like,
but like you would think you would think it's like, oh, it's over exaggerated, but then you realize, wait, what about this person was complaining about their significant other, or this person's like, oh, this sounds like a fucking K-drama right now. Like it's a little exaggerated, but it's pretty similar to real life.
I think obviously communication isn't the only thing that goes on in a relationship. I think you need like mutual respect and
so
understanding.
What I was gonna say is that, well, the reason why I think communication is key is because communication brings in the respect, brings in the trust, brings in the deeper bond that you create with your significant other. That's, it all starts with just talking. Right. It's all about that communication. That first, you just need to be like, if you don't like something that your significant other is doing, don't get angry about it.
Just tell them.
Just be like, yo, I don't like that.
And if they get mad, tell them to fuck off.
Yeah, pretty much. If they get mad, it means they have no respect for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're seriously talking to the person sincerely, they'll understand and be like, okay, I'll try to not do this. Right? There's no always guarantee that it's gonna work because people don't change overnight, right?
People have habits that they're used to, and
exactly these habits are really hard to break, right? Excuse me. Another part of communication is not being able to communicate. And a show that really showed this very well was Run On. And they did a fucking tastic job with the show and the script. And they showed how they portrayed how one person who was taught was raised a certain way it has a hard time communicating with people who were raised differently, right? And it like in the show you have Im Shi-won's character not being able to really understand what Shin Se-kyung's character was saying, right? Because he was so matter of fact and she's sarcastic, right? And she uses a lot of references where he's like, I don't understand what you're talking about. You know what I mean? He's very like straightforward and almost blunt. And a lot of people didn't like that, right? And I personally love that. It's
well, it's a different kind of character, right?
Yeah, it's insane because you don't get that. Not even like if you've met a person like this, I would love to know. I would love to talk to this person because I've never met someone that's so, like, I've met people who are blunt, who are shameless, who just didn't know how to filter themselves. That's a whole different story. It's a whole different.
Why are you referring to me on here?
Wow. I wasn't even talking about you. Cardi knows who I'm talking about. That's a whole different whole different side of communication. Whereas someone who can't actually understand the other person because
social cues, right?
That's it. Exactly. Right. They don't know the social cues. They don't know the oh my god, the norm, not the norm. way of speaking to some, like,
Yeah.
in a normal conversation,
Yeah.
right? Where someone's like, she tries to have a conversation with him close to the beginning of the show,
Yeah.
and there was no back and forth. It was like abrupt stops between the two because it was so hard for him to really understand what she's saying, and it was really hard for her to accept the way that he was. So
Yeah.
she kept trying to, throughout the show, you'll see that she's trying to change the way she speaks to him and try and teach him.
Yeah.
And then later on
Train
the show,
him.
you're so, yeah, train him. And then later on the show, they start to bicker back and forth.
Yeah, they have banter again.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you're just like, oh. And then and then her character realizes, oh, wait, you get it. And he's like, yeah, I get it. And it's like, you see that transition from not knowing to knowing. And it's all because of the communication that she has with him and the constant communication with him.
Yeah.
Right? Because she learns that no one else likes talking to him.
Yeah.
Right? But she likes him.
Yeah.
Right? And not just because like she likes him in like a romantic way. At first she just likes him because he was interesting.
But he also did things that she found like wow, I can't even think anymore. Like he did things that stood out to her. So like he would stick up for people, he would be there for other people, and it's like, yeah, he doesn't know really how to do the social cues, but he's standing up for people and things that he believes in.
Yeah, and he was very true to his values. Yeah, and that's what she liked about him too, right?
And
that's
he stuck that way until the end of the show, which was amazing.
Exactly, it was incredible, and that's another part of communication, right? Communication. That's what really brought them to the end of the show where they actually got to like, banter and bicker and use references, she's like, she calls him John Wick at the beginning of the show, and then near the end of the show he uses that reference and she's like, oh, you figured it out, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So communication is key, and coming from my experience and dating experience before we got married, as a person who I was always timid and shy, I never opened up to anybody, and I apologize to all my ex-girlfriends to put them through the shit that I did. Nothing terrible, but
he just wasn't there.
I wasn't, like going through certain periods of my life, like it was really hard to actually communicate with people in general, and it was always like man, I feel bad because some of my friends watch this, they'll be mad. Like it was really hard for me because I had to put on a mask.
Yeah.
Right. With a lot of people.
Yeah.
Going to school, going to work, because I wasn't me. Right. I couldn't show the real me.
But no one knew what was going on at home, right?
That's exactly it.
And
that's
kind of
and I know they'll understand.
But your friends are very understanding.
Yeah.
So.
But it's the communicate, just talking about things that you like, you don't like, things that are just on your mind, just anything that really comes to mind to really initiate that communication, the interaction with each other, with your significant other, with your friends, with your siblings, your parents, just talking is like the first steps to really move forward.
Yeah.
Right. In a relationship, any type of relationship, friendship.
I think also coming from the background that we come from, talking isn't necessarily something that we were taught to do.
Yeah.
Like,
and
for me, I was always, not always told, but it was implied in a certain way that hide your feelings, don't do this, don't, like, obviously I was a spoiled brat, so I had outbursts, but like,
if she admits it.
Like, other than that, my emotional feelings with certain things, when my parents and my family found out, they were like, holy shit, how did we not see this? Yeah. So there's certain things that we're indirectly told not to do or not to say or not to express.
Yeah. And I find like watching the K-dramas and learning about the culture, they're very similar to the Arabs, like to our culture, where it's like, you have no feelings, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, men don't cry, and like shit like that, right?
And then
it's
they're
like,
allowed to cry.
do whatever you want. It's your feelings, it's your emotions, it's your
Mm-hmm.
life. No one controls you and tells you what to do.
You be
really.
confident in who the fuck you are.
And that's it, right? And that's exactly it. Be confident who you are and just talk it out. If your friend is pissing you off because they did something that you didn't like,
Yeah.
talk it out. Don't get angry about it. Okay. Is it when something happens, okay? The biggest thing is you react to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't react to it. You respond to it. Okay. Because when you react to it, it's an emotional response.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when you respond to it, it's an intellectual response.
Yeah.
Right. Where you're thinking with your head and not your emotions.
Yeah.
Right? So don't
Still
react.
working on that one.
Yeah. It takes time. It takes a lot of time.
Time and practice.
Yeah, because you don't have that much. Your patience isn't the greatest. Is what
No.
I'm saying. So it's like you react more than you respond.
Yeah.
But don't react. Respond.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So with a cool head,
Mm-hmm.
talk to the
Yeah.
other person. Right. Talk to, your friend who did something you didn't like, or your friend is doing something that they shouldn't be doing. You think, oh, excuse me, if they did it this way, maybe it would actually work out. Talk to them. With my friends, if something's not working out, I text Kardak all the time. I'd be like, yo, what should I do next for the podcast? Or what, tell me honestly. And he gives me honest feedback right away. It's like, oh, you should do this, and this, and that. Right.
But I have to say, I think not everyone has the people in our lives that we have. Like we.
No, I know.
I think we are lucky to have each other and the
I am
people that surround us.
Absolutely grateful.
Because we have those type of conversations. Like we can go to one of your sisters and sit down with them for hours and have a conversation, and it's not going to be a surface. You can go deep. There's more to it,
Yeah. I understand. Like, not everybody will get this kind of connection.
Yeah. But it's worth a shot to try.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't hurt. Like you're starting from nowhere. So if someone rejects you, you
just move on and
you
get
just move on
else.
because you're still in the same spot.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, they're not worth it.
Yeah. You have to. You really have to. You have to really like. It's a process, right? You really have to think about what you want as a person and what it is that you're looking for in a friend, in friendship, in a relationship, in marriage, and you know what I mean, in companionship, and you know what I mean, in your connections with your siblings and whatnot, and your cousins, your coworkers and stuff like that. It's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Is what you need to work your way towards, right? It's what you want to know what you're looking for first.
Yeah.
You just want a connection. Okay, perfect. And that's what it is really for anybody is you just want a connection with somebody.
Yeah.
And that's what I found when I met Nadia, which was the weirdest thing ever, right? Me and Nadia for the first time, I wasn't like, I was a little nervous because she was hot, but it was really hard for me to like, it wasn't hard for me to respond to her the way I would in my head, right? Whereas normally if you go out on a date with someone, you hold back everything you want to say and you be like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, cool.
Well,
whereas like an example would be our first date.
Oh,
she
my
was
God.
taking she got a chicken burger and then she takes the bun off.
I don't like tomatoes.
And she takes off all the freaking veggies off of
and
it.
iceberg lettuce is
and
disgusting.
Puts it back. And then I kind of look at her and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why did you just waste all the veggies? And like, put back the veggies. So she curses at me and then puts the veggies back in. And I put the tomatoes.
No, I didn't put any tomatoes because I hate tomatoes. I'm sorry, I don't like them. I've tried multiple times. I don't like them. I put some of the lettuce back on, but there was like a large amount of iceberg lettuce on that fucking thing. It's gross.
Sure.
Iceberg lettuce is disgusting. Okay.
All right. So she puts it back and she actually eats it, but that initial like interaction between us, if I would have said that to anybody else, and I swear whoever's watching this, anybody that would have went on a date with me and was watching this, they probably would have slapped me right away. or walked away,
Yeah.
or threw the fucking chicken at me and then walked away. You know what I mean? Like I know for a fact that I would not have gotten a great response if I said it to anybody else. But for some reason, I just there was that nothing was holding me back from saying anything that day. So that was like a great feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Communicate, because I can communicate with this person. It's like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I don't feel scared to communicate with this person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's for us, that was what our relationship was based around. Like some
Yeah.
people, it's looks or sexual attraction and everything like that, but for us, it was talking,
Yeah.
and we did it a lot. Like
Yeah.
if I would have had all my own old phones and kept all those conversations, my God, like we had pages and like at one point I couldn't receive any text messages from him because my phone was too full.
And then when I was away for a bit, we were emailing, right?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't use my phone while it was overseas.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty. Is communication. Communication is key.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm going to end it today because we're a little over time.
Yeah, and we can talk a lot.
Well, yeah, communication. Like we can go chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like relationships is another entire kind of thing, but
Yeah.
we'll get to that later.
We feel strongly about this and bullying.
Yeah, these are like we started the 2 first coffee breaks with
Yeah.
some like we're more passionate about. I think
Yeah.
we should have waited until later. Anyways, that's all for today. Stay tuned for our upcoming contest. I will be getting the prize soon. It's on the way. I am excited and sad at the same time because I didn't buy myself one like I should have. I just bought one for you guys. And
But that's okay.
yeah, that's okay. Whatever. Next time. I'll buy myself one later. Whatever. So stay tuned.
Mhm.
We'll be back closer to the end of May, I think. Right? For
End of
coffee and dramas.
Oh shit, it's April 20th.
We're April.
Wow. Probably the middle of May.
Sometime
Look for us the
middle,
second, third.
closer to the end of May, I think.
Yeah.
So check it out soon. We'll be here for Coffee Break next week. And stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you soon.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.